All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the pastor and executive director here. This is Carrie. She is the associate executive director here. I know there's still a lot of people out at the cafe. They can trickle in slowly. Hey, good to be with you all on this Saturday night. It's been a minute since we've gathered because we had rest week last week, and then, well, you were here, but I was gone the week before, and so it's really good to be back with y'all. To remind y'all, this community, and hey, by the way, welcome to all of our online people joining us from, well, whatever state you're joining us from, or living room, or sober living house, or treatment center. We're glad you're part of this community. This is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there's always one thing we don't do here at Free. If you're new with us, you're going to catch on very quickly. We say all four of these words together. We shout them out on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame. We don't do shame. But Carrie will tell you some things coming up that you might want to know about.
Hello, friends. And if you're new and if this is your first time, we are so glad that you're here. We would love to connect with you. So after service, go through these two doors and grab a welcome bag. Inside these welcome bags, you'll find some fresh roasted Wagon coffee by the wonderful women at Wagon Coffee, which is Tammy Canada. I don't think she's in here right now, but she is extraordinary. It's all women in recovery. It's the coffee that we serve in the cafe over here. You'll get some free swag as well as our Connect card. The Connect card is how you guys sign up for our newsletter and stay connected with all the events that we have here, all the different, like who's the guest storyteller that week, and really just all the fun things that we do throughout the week and the year here. So please connect with us, come and say hi to us, get to know us. Next up, we have Sober Open Mic.
There you go, Carrie. You're just nailing it.
I almost forgot that for a second. Woo! I did it. So on July 24th, if you guys have not been to one of these, this is a super fun event. Extraordinary, like a range of talent. So some people are singing, some people are doing poetry, some people are playing musical instruments. There are these extraordinary artists who all come together. This place gets filled up, the cafe gets filled up. It's wonderful, sober community. It's put on by Free and the Phoenix, and it's sponsored, sorry guys, it's been a long week, but it's sponsored by Colorado Artists in Recovery, so thank you, Darren. Oh, and there's Tammy. And then is Colorado Artists in Recovery and the Hornbuckle Foundation. So it's a wonderful organization. It's a wonderful, come with your friends, come by yourself and meet new friends. It's a free event. You do have to sign up to perform. If you need that, it's on our website, and it's also on the newsletter that went out this last week. And if you get on the newsletter this week, you'll also receive it next week. Next, we have my model needs to model for me over here.
They call me Vanna White.
Thank you, Vanna. We have these extraordinary upcycled burlap bags. So these all come from the coffee beans that Tammy uses in Wagon Coffee, and they've been made with love by mostly by her mom. So thanks mom, if you're watching online. And they're $38. It's an amazing way to support Wagon, to support Free, and just this community and all of the love that goes in there. So,
and they make great beach bags.
I mean, they really make bags for anything, carrying your step work, carrying your coffee, all the bags. You can have one for all the things.
Okay, well,
you might need more than one. I think that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Carrie.
Thanks.
All right, I want to, I'll take that from you, because I want to introduce you to my friend Jordan. Jordan's right here. Look at these pants, man. Wait till you see these pants. Jordan, come on up here. And so Jordan and I met sometime last year at the Denver Startup Week, which is a big gathering downtown for entrepreneurs and innovators and new ideas and creatives. And Jordan and I got together for coffee after that, and he started telling me this idea that he's building out. And I was like, dude, our community is going to be interested in this. It's built totally around service and serving other people. And that's one of the foundations of sobriety is service. And so he's building out this app Still in like the development stages, but it's come a long way. And I said, dude, come tell us about what this is going to do, what it is. It's called Sukai. He's going to tell you about Sukai.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Can we give it up for these two lovely angels, these humans that are creating a life-changing space for everyone? Yeah, it's amazing. So love the work you guys are doing, and thanks for the space. Yeah, the name of the company is Sukai, and Sukai, S-U-K-A-I, and it's we can click a button and have anything show up in an Uber, groceries, whatever we need. But we can't click a button and notify our neighbors that we just need a hand with maybe moving a couch or whatever it might be. So the goal here is to create a new form of social capital and really democratize and lower the barrier to entry for volunteering your time, because we're all busy, right? But if you can click a button and find out who needs help around you, and vice versa, notify your neighbors within a certain radius that are background checked, peer reviewed, we create a centralized database for volunteers. Helps nonprofits bring volunteers through the doors. And also, if Ryan here needed a hand with his couch and you all got notified, how many of you would come to give a hand?
Come on, everybody.
Now, what if the person that was, the two sides of the marketplace are needers and deeders, if the needer had posted for $10 and you got to dictate where 40 to 45% of that donation went to a nonprofit, how many of you would click the button to default your donations for all of your deeds to Free Recovery Community right here, right? So this is the app that we're building. When a lot of the faces I see in the room, when we all grew up, the neighbors down the street that no one knew, they were the weirdos on the block, right? Now no one knows their neighbors. So bringing community back into neighborhoods and giving the opportunity for people to show up for their community is what we're building. Imagine if you could open up a map and in a natural disaster see little pins of where anyone that needed help, right? Before it took Red Cross a day and a half to get there, right? So that's our vision for Sukai and bringing community back into neighborhoods. We got a little table out there. Any follow on all of our socials, email signups, it's just going to help us raise money and bring this to market much, much faster. So we would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Jordan, for being here, brother. Can't wait to see it when it's live. Thanks, dude. All right, y'all. One other thing before we start with our celebrations. So you might have seen, if you stayed up late on Thursday night, Nightline did an incredible story on young people and highlighted a couple really important places here in Denver doing incredible work. 5280 High School and FullCircle was also in this program. And if you haven't seen it, it's a 30-minute episode. In fact, Tammy just posted it on our Facebook page and Instagram this morning, last night. Yesterday. Anyway, definitely check out the whole episode. You'll see Kiera McAllister in it, the mother of Connor. People in this community that their lives have been changed by recovery. Here's a little 2-minute segment of that piece I figured we'd show y'all.
Tonight, Recovery High.
The first time I ever had gotten high, I was around 8.
I was first introduced to meth when I was turning 13.
We spent 1 year inside the largest high school in the country for students battling addiction.
When we're talking about sobriety, we're talking about all mind-altering substances.
4 teens in the fight for their lives.
I did a lot of fentanyl, I used to do a lot of crystal meth.
At the one place they can learn and...
How are you feeling about your sobriety, your recovery?
...get help. We're there for their setbacks.
I skipped school again. Ooh, I know, sue me.
Have you lost a friend to addiction?
Yes.
And their triumphs.
Felt good. Just proving to people that they can do it too.
With kids in crisis and the adults who never gave up on them.
I need to get involved, and I need to be the big brother that he needs.
Putting everything on the line to stay sober.
Yeah, let's hear it for 5280 High School and FullCircle. You'll also see Sam is just out these doors. He has a table set up to promote FullCircle. Raise your hand, by the way, if you're part of FullCircle or 5280. Yeah. Beautiful thing. Go check out their table. Beautiful things are happening. All right, y'all, the way we get started on a Saturday night here at Free is with celebrations. We start with the good. We lift up the good. Maybe you're here celebrating a sobriety anniversary or birthday or new jobs, new homes, new babies, new whatever it is. We celebrate it all here. We take 3 minutes for this. If you're joining us online, drop your celebrations in the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. We'll join with you there. Here in-house, just raise up your hand, and Kiera will have a mic on this side. Darren is in the back. He'll have a mic on that side. Where's that other mic? Here it is. Thank you, D-Dog. Yeah, just raise up your hand. Give us the good news. We'll take 3 minutes. This time is yours.
All right, I'm Chuck Williams, 5 months sober.
5 months. Way to go, Chuck.
Good job.
Congratulations.
My name is Layla, and I've got 66 days sober today, and I also just started a new job last week.
Way to go, Layla.
I'm Kai, and I'm celebrating for old time's sake. I've got 849 days free of fentanyl.
849 days. Way to go, Kai.
I'm Randy, and I got a new job at a treatment center and a little over 90 days sober.
All right, dude. Congratulations, man.
I'm Lakota, and I have 8 years sober today.
All right, dude. Happy 8 years.
My name's Paul, and I'm celebrating 59 days sober, and it was my birthday yesterday, so yeah, definitely happy to be here.
All right, dude. Congratulations.
My name is Darren, and I just want to say I'm celebrating. We had a fundraiser this morning, and we were able to raise $9,000 for CARE. So, yeah,
all
it was
right,
awesome.
dude. Congratulations, Darren. Big stuff.
I'm Austin. I haven't been here in a while, but a few weeks back I got 3 years sober.
Way to go, Austin. Congratulations, buddy.
My name is Marjorie, and I celebrated 15 months yesterday, and my mom is celebrating 9 months today.
All right. Happy 15 months.
I'm Zach, just passed 2 years sober.
All right, way to go, Zach. Congratulations, buddy. Oh, don't stop the goodness now. Here we go.
My name is Opal, and I got a jizzab.
All right, Opal.
Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I got 3 months sober.
3 months sober. Way to go, Jonathan. Oh, and then one in the back. Yep.
I'm Jason, and I just got hired on by a startup company in the tech center, so I'll start being on the 28th.
All right, dude. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Rob, and I just celebrated 4 years of sobriety.
Way to go, Rob. Rob on the tech team.
And just last week, my daughter won a gold medal at the World Rowing Competition in Switzerland.
Wow. Let's celebrate that.
My name's Haley, and I have a week sober today.
1 week, Haley. Glad you're here. And I just wanted to, Tammy's going to come up here and join me for some onlines, but two things. One, do y'all feel the energy in the room? Yeah. And for Haley to just say she's 1 week sober, the bravery that comes with that. We're so proud of you for saying that and being here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna need Paul to repeat the dizza. What was that?
Oh, the job.
Oh,
See-
I'm like, is that Jesus? Job? What are we? Okay, I
Right.
got you.
See, old Paul, the problem is we're kind of old, so
Yes.
I'll talk about that tonight. We're
I'm
catching
gonna
on
start
to
saying
things.
that the jizza.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We're going to teach our kids some things tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we got to turn around because
All
this
right.
screen is out, but you want to take the first one?
Okay. Tony says, hello everyone, my name is Tony. I'm in Mountain West in Colorado Springs and I'm celebrating 80 days sober today.
Way to go, Tony. Kaylin says, today I'm celebrating 11 months at a job and I am so happy at...
Awesome.
Question? We'll celebrate it. I don't know where, but we're going to celebrate it, Kaylin.
Hi, Robin. She says, my celebration is God is doing amazing things in my life as I seek him daily. Also, I hit 19 months clean from the booze. Holla at ya girl.
Holla at your girl. Way to go, Robin. We're hollering. Shua, 28 days today. So
Awesome,
proud
Shua.
of you, dude. I'm glad you're here, man. Happy 28 days. Thank you, Tammy, for being up here with me. All right, y'all, we are, man, it's always so good to celebrate with y'all. I'm so glad we start with celebrations. We are in the middle of this summer series called the Summer Grind, and tonight we're going to talk about, explore together what it looks like to stop the cap. So a few weeks ago, we were out behind our house, hiking the trails, the open space, beautiful sunset, and I had my 14-year-old daughter, Selah, with me, and my 9-year-old boy, Breck. And at the end of our walk together, they decided they were going to race. And they said, Poppy, you stand at the finish line, tell us when to go, and then tell us who wins. So there I am. I'm standing at the finish line. On your marks, get set, go. And they start running towards me. And y'all, it was a very close race. I still to this day, I can't tell you who won. It looked like they crossed at the exact same time, but immediately after crossing the finish line, Breck throws his arms in the air and he says, I won. I beat you, Selah, fair and square. I won. To which Selah responds, man, stop the cap. To which I respond to Selah, wait a minute, remember I'm an old guy. What'd you say? Stop the cap, what does that mean? She says to me, Poppy, stop acting old. Stop the cap means stop with the lies. Yes, stop lying. Stop the cap. In recovery, we know that we have to all come to terms with something. If you're in recovery, you have to come to terms with what it looks like for you to get honest with your life. Because you do know every addiction is built on a foundation of lies. It comes along and it promises you relief, but then it ultimately delivers bondage. And it doesn't matter if it's a substance or a behavior, it becomes a false solution. It becomes a false connection between us and other people, us and the spiritual. And y'all, I do get it. It might have started out as some innocent fun, just a little escape, a little fitting in, but at some point, it totally took you into bondage. And what do we do in bondage? In bondage, you are so far from the truth. In bondage, we get stuck trying to convince ourselves and convince everyone around us that, no, I'm fine. No, I got a handle on this. No, I can do this and I don't need any help. I can stop whenever I want. I got this on my own. Yeah. Stop the cap. It's very interesting to me in the earliest pages of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, in this section called The Doctor's Opinion. And I think these words could be said about any addiction, but here, of course, they're talking about alcoholism, and they say these words. Men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. The sensation is so elusive that while they admit it is injurious, they cannot, after a time, differentiate the true from the false. Isn't it interesting? At some point, we cross a line and we can no longer tell the truth from a lie. We begin to live lives of hypocrisy without even knowing it. Here's an interesting statistic. Did you know in a recent survey of 16 to 29-year-olds, 85% of them said that people of faith, the church, is hypocritical? Yeah, hold on to that. If you're in recovery, if you've been in recovery long enough, you've certainly heard the line, we're only as sick as our secrets. And it's true, but what does it mean? I think what it means is when a secret is kept in the dark, it just grows and it becomes more harmful. But once that secret is exposed to the light, well, all of a sudden it loses its power. And how many of you know exactly what it's like to be dying in your secrecy, to be dying in your lies? How many people here tonight? How many people watching online or watching later in the week? How many people are still coming to Free every Saturday night, or they're maybe coming throughout the week to hit a meeting or something else here at Free, and yet you're still pretending? You're wearing the mask. You're hoping and praying no one ever really sees you, sees who you really are and what's really in here. Y'all, I have some personal experience with this. Do you know when I was active in my addiction, and towards the end, while I was serving as a pastor at a different church, and oftentimes on these Sunday mornings, because the services were on Sunday mornings, not Saturday nights, but on these Sunday mornings at all three worship services, I would be invited to give the pastoral prayer. And if you don't know what that is, that's where you stand in front of the congregation and you give a 3 to 5 minute prayer. And during this prayer, I would try to say meaningful things, pray meaningful things, highlight some world events and invite God in and try to make sense of them. But do you know what my real prayer was? Of course, I couldn't say it out loud. My real prayer was, God, I hope no one truly sees me. God, I hope they do not discover who I really am. God, I hope they do not see that I can't put down the bottle. God, I hope they don't see that I am dying inside. Man, I was so afraid to bring this secret into the light because I didn't trust the light. My brothers and sisters, are your lies, is your secrecy killing you? So here's what I want to do with you for a minute. I want to look at this really weird and bizarre story. Some of y'all are going to say to yourselves, man, what kind of BS is this? Why are we looking at this story? It's ancient. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. And yet it's one of my favorite stories. It comes from the New Testament book of Acts, chapter 5. And just see for a moment if you can relate to it. It's a weird story. Here's how it goes. Acts chapter 5. However, a man named Ananias, along with his wife Sapphira, sold a piece of property. With his wife's knowledge, he withheld some of the proceeds from the sale. He brought the rest of the money and placed it in the care and under the authority of the apostles. And let's just pause there for a minute so we can get a picture of what's going on. Ananias and Sapphira, they're married. They have a field. They sell this field, this piece of property. They get a certain amount of money for it, but they hold back. Ananias holds back some of the money for themselves with his wife's knowledge, and then they bring the rest of the money. Ananias brings it into the church and says, this is all the money from the sale. This is it. He's pretending, trying to be someone he's not, trying to look like a big giver. Peter is a leader in the church, and Peter is there, and Peter essentially, we're going to see, says to Ananias, man, stop the cap. Why are you doing this? Man, this is your money. You can do whatever you want with it, but you don't got to come in here and pretend like this is all the money from the sale. I saw the for sale sign. I know what you were asking for it. I know how much you got for it. Why are you lying? Here's what Peter says to him. You haven't lied to other people, but to God. When Ananias heard these words, he dropped dead. Weird. Everyone who heard this conversation was terrified. Some young men stood up and wrapped up his body, carried him out, and buried him. Weird, but hold on, it gets a little weirder. Let's keep going. About 3 hours later, his wife, Sapphira, entered, but she didn't know what had happened to her husband. Peter asked her, tell me, come on, Sapphira, did you and your husband receive this price for the land? She responded, yep, that's the amount. He replied, how could you scheme with each other to challenge the Lord's Spirit? Look, the feet of those who buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out too. At that very moment, she dropped dead at his feet. When the young men entered and found her, they carried her out and buried her with her husband. And you say to yourselves, yeah, see, I was right. Man, that is a weird story. Now, here's how this story was passed down to me as a child growing up in the church. Here's how it was taught to me. Yeah, Ryan, I know, man, it's kind of a weird story, but you got to understand, God takes the sin of dishonesty seriously. Yeah, God takes it seriously, and I know it kind of sucks. God struck them dead, but God takes sin seriously, especially if it's done in the church. And some of y'all are thinking, man, if that's who God is, if that's how God behaves in the world, count me out. And I would say the same thing, count me out. I want nothing to do with that. But let's break down the story a little bit. Because we have to understand in the ancient world, in the first century, it's how they funded the movement. It's how they funded the church. From time to time, people would sell their homes, or they would sell a piece of their property and give the money to the church. And here is Ananias and Sapphira. They have a field, a piece of property, and they sell it. And they bring some of the proceeds to the church, but they act like that's all the money from the sale. It's pretending that they were someone they weren't. Peter is one of the church leaders, and he confronts Ananias, dude, why are you lying about it? You didn't have to even lie about this. What a stupid lie. And he drops dead, and people come in, get his body, bring him out the back doors of the church, and bury him, which, by the way, started the very first church cemetery. Now, Sapphira, she's at home, and she's looking at her watch. Man, where's my husband? Where's Ananias? He knows we got dinner plans, and what's he taking so long for? It's been 3 hours, so I'm going to march up there and I'm going to drag his butt back home. He's late. So she goes up to the church, and Peter's there. Peter confronts her. Sapphira, are you sure this is all the money? Yeah, that's all the money. Sapphira, how could you scheme like this? Why would you lie about this? Stop the cap, and she falls over dead. And then people drag her out and bury her. Now you have two people in that little church cemetery. Weird. But this whole bit about God striking them dead, it's never in the text. It's not there. Yeah, it says they dropped dead. And you say, oh, well, come on, Ryan, why is that point so important? Why highlight that point? Because when we read ancient stories like this, we have to be reminded that these are actual human beings reflecting on the world and its events. They're telling a story from their point of view. And in the ancient world, it was very normal and natural to assume that unusual events had supernatural causes. Many of the communities at that time, they worked under the premise of what's called reward and punishment. What's that mean? Well, if we're good and we do good things, the divine will reward us, a transactional divine. If we're bad and we do bad things, well, the divine is going to punish us. And you say, yeah, but how ancient and barbaric and backwards is that? And yet we see it happen all the time, don't we? Let me think about it. Man, I was just talking to a guy last week. He goes on this rant with me. He starts telling me how bad his life is, how nothing is going well in his life, and then he ends his rant by saying, I think God is punishing me for the things I've done. Really? God is punishing you? Do y'all see how quick we are to blame God? I mean, like, dude, are you sure this has nothing to do with the natural and normal consequences of you not being able still to put down the drugs and the drink? God is doing this to you? Y'all, we see it happen all the time. I mean, how many nights can we lay in bed and we can get our phones out and start scrolling? Or maybe we turn the TV on and we see another tragic news story, innocent lives lost. And at some point in that story, someone pipes up, either on the screen on your TV or the comment section on your phone, and they say things like, yep, God did this. Yep, God is punishing them. God is getting them back. Really? Well, when does that happen, Ron? We saw it happen just this week, didn't we? With the tragic Texas floodings where children died, some of them still not found. And we heard those voices say God was bringing punishment to Texas. God was getting them back. Judgment. Man, stop the cap. You see, we have to be very careful when we start attributing tragic events in the world to, well, yeah, God did this. God was angry at you or them, and God is going to punish you. Man, stop the cap. Let's go back to Peter's response for just a moment to Ananias and Sapphira, because it was a bit intense, wasn't it? I mean, Peter says to Ananias, why'd you do it? Man, you didn't just lie to other people, you lied to God. And Peter says to Sapphira, how could you scheme with each other? Man, look at your husband. Don't you see he's dead? Don't you see the lies are going to kill you, and then she dies? He confronts her, she doesn't confess, and you say, yeah, but man, it's all a bit harsh, Ryan, isn't it? And Peter, you're a church leader. Where's your love? Where's your grace? It was just one little lie. Where's the grace? Why is Peter so fired up about this? Why does it matter so much to Peter? Well, because you have to remember, Peter has a bit of a past. And he has a pattern in his life. When things get dicey, he lies his way out of it. Like, you might remember the time Jesus, Peter's best friend, they're like close friends together. They're walking together, and then Roman soldiers arrest Jesus, and then they put him up on a Roman execution stake where he died a horrific death. And right after he's arrested, Peter is outside, and some of those Roman soldiers come to him and say, wait a minute, weren't you with him? Aren't you one of his followers? Don't you know this guy? And 3 different times, Peter says, nah, man, you got the wrong guy. I don't know him. Never seen him. Don't know him from Adam. And you might remember in that story, there's a rooster that crows 3 times. And then the text tells us that Peter goes outside and he cries, weeps uncontrollably. It was like this moment in his life where God was bringing this dark secret and exposing it to the light, and it did something to Peter. It changed Peter. And now Peter is a leader in the church. And for Peter, it is not about the money. I know it's always easy to point to the church and say, man, they're just always asking for money. They just always want my money. For Peter, it was not about the money. It was about the hypocrisy, the dishonesty, the pretending. For the 85% of 16 to 29-year-olds who say that the church is hypocritical, it's about the pretending, the dishonesty, the hypocrisy. Can't you imagine Peter saying to Ananias and Sapphira, man, don't y'all get it? We cannot afford the pretending. We cannot afford to put on the mask. We can't afford the dishonesty. Don't you all get it? We can't afford to try to convince people that we are someone we're not. And Ananias and Sapphira, don't you get it? Our lives depend on it. Don't you get it? Our secrets will kill us. Yeah, maybe it's not such a weird story. Do you know, last week I was on a podcast, and the podcaster, the guy who was interviewing me, he asked me, he says, Ryan, when you decided to get sober and you went into your first AA meeting, were you afraid? He says, did it feel like you were free, or did it feel like you were still in bondage? And my first thought was, well, you got to understand, recovery, it's like a process, and freedom, it comes in stages. It doesn't happen overnight, at least not for me. But I was also able to say to him, yeah, man, when I said those words out loud for the first time, I'm Ryan, and I'm an alcoholic, and I'm miserable, and I don't know how to put down the drink, it was like, man, finally I can breathe again. Finally, I know a little bit about what it means to be free. And he went on to ask me, he says, when you decided to share your story publicly from the pulpit at the church where you were serving as a pastor 3 years into your recovery, he said, let me ask you, did it feel like bondage, or did you feel free? And you know how it felt? It was one of the scariest things I'd ever done. Why? Because I'm a lot like Ananias and Sapphira. Man, I have an image to protect. And I'm a pastor. And what are people going to think? How are they going to think of me? What if they find out who I really am? What's going to happen? And I can also tell you, in exposing that secret and getting to a place in my life where I could trust God enough that if I brought this secret out of the darkness, that there would actually be light, and the light is good. And I was able to tell him at that point in my journey, there was no bondage with that. There was only free. And y'all do know in our recovery, because it's a process, we are learning how to stop the cap. Still. Do you know 1 year before we started free, I was talking with a trusted friend of mine, and I'll never forget what she said to me. She said, Ryan, it's very interesting to me that you are always telling us how happy you are in your current setting, but it's followed by a long list of things you would do differently. She says, what keeps you from going after something new? Well, that'd be really scary. Well, what if I did that? Do you know I had to, still 4 years sober at the time, I had to learn how to get honest with my passions, my desires, my dreams. And that's really scary, because what if you go after a dream and it fails? What if you go after the thing you feel passionate about, a calling towards, and it fails? Or what if you go after it and the birds start chirping up here and they say, what are people going to think? What are the ones closest to you going to think? What are your social media friends going to think? And even today in recovery, when I encounter the hard, because we all still encounter the hard, we have to ask, do I hold the secrets in? Do I protect an image because I want to be strong and I want to be seen as I can do it on my own? Do I protect the image? Do I show up in community and act like that's all the money from the sale? Or do I open my heart to trusted friends and allow them to speak into my life? Do I open myself to God and pause and ask God for a bit of guidance and wisdom? You see, my brothers and sisters, what images, what things might you be protecting? What keeps you from exposing the secrets into the light? What distractions do you keep running to avoid everything that's happening in here? And maybe for you, you just never have gotten honest with anyone about what's really going on in here. And you found 1,000 different ways to cover it up. You can just do one more Facebook, Instagram post of posting your perfectly edited photo so that you look all good on the outside. Meanwhile, no one knows that you're dying on the inside. Or maybe for you, it's a relationship in your life. And man, this relationship, it's not working, you say, and it's filled with conflict. And you stand back and you tell yourself, man, I've done everything I know how to do. I've done everything I can. Really? Have you sought outside help? Have you got honest enough to seek a therapist, a counselor, maybe some trusted friends in your life? Have you gotten to a point of honesty, or have you kept it all into yourself and it's leading you to dark places? Or maybe for you, it's like a dream that you have. Man, you see this vision so clearly. You feel called to it. It's like a drum that's beating and it doesn't stop beating, but then, man, this fear comes up. And you haven't yet gotten honest with this dream. You haven't yet said it out loud because, well, let's just be honest, that's too scary. What are they going to think? Or what if I step into that dream and it doesn't work? What if I fail? Or how about this one? And this one is not lost on me. That there are some people here tonight, there are some people watching online, and you haven't yet gotten honest with your addiction. You're still trying to convince yourself. You're saying things like, no, I can stop whenever I want. No, I can beat this thing. I just got to have more time with it. I can beat it. I can do it on my own. Just give me enough time and I'll get through this. And it's killing you. And the truth is, you can go on living this way. You can go on living with your secrets and your lies, and no, I don't think God is going to strike you dead. But your secrecy might have some grave consequences. Stop the cap. And I'll close with this. The author and researcher Brene Brown. Anyone heard of Brene Brown? highly recommend her work. Brene Brown, she talks about this as wholehearted living. In fact, in her work, she has identified 10 guideposts to wholehearted living. The very first one that she identifies is this one. It's called Cultivating Authenticity. Do we have it on the screen? There it is, Cultivating Authenticity. And she says that when she began her work, she thought there was authentic people and inauthentic people, that you were either born with it or you weren't born with it. But she says there's nothing in her research that supports that. Instead, what she found is authenticity is a practice, and you have to practice it daily. Sometimes every hour of every day, you have to practice authenticity. It is asking the question, how am I going to show up in the world? How am I going to show up today? How am I going to be seen today? Because the truth is, it's our choice. We can, with God's help, practice authenticity, bringing our full, our authentic self into this community, into the communities that you're a part of when you leave this place. Or we can go on pretending, clinging to our secrets, staying with the lies. But it might kill us. It might kill us. So I want to invite you to take a moment and reflect. This song is called Bad Liar by Imagine Dragons. And hopefully we are becoming bad liars. Take a moment and reflect.
Oh, hush, my dear, it's been a
share a little bit of their story and share some of their hope on the topic at hand. When we picked this topic, we knew the most perfect person for this. Both Ryan and Tammy almost like kind of built the sermon around it, like knowing especially the whole Stop the Cap and the little younger generation. But what's so amazing is this person is so consistent in our community. That video that we showed in the beginning of 5280 and FullCircle, she is a member of both. When she entered into into 5280, she was struggling. She was real close to getting kicked out of school. And so when she went into 5280, not only did she end up graduating, finding community, but she graduated as valedictorian. Right? Like, I mean, come on, guys. Which is amazing. And she also did not share that information because she is one of the most humble people and would never brag about herself. But now that I have the microphone, I can brag about her because she is just remarkable. So we had a bunch of students from 5280 High School come here to volunteer to do some of the stuff in the cafe. And Thea was the one who stayed. She has consistently 2 years after coming to volunteer, where she is no longer required to be here, she shows up every Thursday morning with a smile. She is the most reliable person you can imagine. It is such an honor to have her in this world, in this community. Please do me a favor and welcome Thea up to the stage. We're gonna decorate the couch again, guys. So again, if you wanna buy these bags, come to the cafe, meet Thea. That's my little plug for the bags. There you go.
Okay, I have one of the bags. They're really fun. Anyways.
Right, I have one too. I mean, everybody has them, guys. Come on. Hi, Thea.
Hey.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
I get to see you every Thursday, but it's kind of fun to see you on a Saturday night. I want to start off, let's go a little bit about what did your addiction look like? What did it look like to be lying not only to the world around you, but to yourself? What did that look like, and how did you realize you had to get honest?
Okay, so a big part of my story is I actually never really got into drugs and alcohol. I am a self-harm addict. So I first started really getting into self-harm when some rough stuff with my family was going on. For a lot of my childhood, I was kind of the child that people kept an eye on because I was very outward about my struggles. You know, if I was having a rough time, you knew it. But when my siblings started going through some stuff with like addiction and mental health, I kind of just immediately turned that switch off of like talking about how I was doing, sharing that with anyone. I just kind of turned that off, and from that point on, I was like, this is something I need to keep to myself. If I'm struggling, that is something I have to deal with on my own. Because, yeah, I didn't want anyone to worry about me or anything like that. So I started getting into self-harm pretty heavy then.
Can I just stop you there real fast? Because like for anyone who doesn't know what that means or what does that, because again, typically up here we talk about, I know next week we'll be talking about process addictions in a little bit different ways, but for someone who doesn't understand what self-harm means, as far as like what does it mean to be addicted to self-harm, and what does it feel like inside of your body, and what makes you feel that urge to do that?
I mean, from like a lot of the times I've like talked to the people around me in recovery, I kind of self-harm for the same reason people drink or the same reason people do drugs, you know? For me specifically, it gave me a lot. I got a lot out of it, or it felt like a lot out of it that was good. It wasn't, but, you know, I felt like it was the one thing I could control in my life. It was like such a quick way to just, it felt like I could control the way I felt and I could change the way I felt. And it just like felt like the one thing I had power over in my life.
And what were you trying to have power over? I know we talked a little bit about, growing up and, some OCD tendencies, and you had some, family grief that happened. What did that look like? And how did it manifest into that?
Yeah. For a lot of my childhood, I kind of felt out of control. There was some stuff going around me, like you said, some like grandparents dying. I had obsessive compulsive disorder. Self-harm. When I was looking for something to control, it just, it was something that was nothing around me. It just had to do with me, if that makes any sense. I forget what your exact question was.
So did I, but that's okay. We can just move on. But I also want to touch base because I know we were talking a little bit about, how it is similar to really any addiction. The same feelings that you're trying to, that you're trying to escape. And one of the ones that when we talked, and you said it beautifully, that for so long, you blamed people, places, and things for all of the things that, because of you making me feel this way, right? And today, it's a little bit different from you, but can you tell us what it felt like coming in, that victim mentality, blaming, right?
Yeah. So for a little context on that, I started getting into self-harm. My heaviest self-harm usage was when I had these two best friends, and I was just extremely codependent on them. It's almost like when I met them, I was like, oh, I found something really cool, and this is something I never want to lose. But it got to the point of I was causing them a lot of harm and pushing them away with trying to hold on to them so tightly. But yeah, I blamed them heavily because I have experienced blaming a lot of people for my self-harm addiction, I never could own that I was the one making that decision to do that. I could never own that. I honestly didn't think I had a choice, I think, at points, because I just didn't really see a way out of the life I had been living, because when it came to self-harm and the people around me, I just completely blamed the people in my life that I would feel really bad feelings over. I blamed them I blamed them for making me feel that way, and I blamed the way I felt for why I needed to self-harm.
And then when did you realize that wasn't working and that you had to find a solution that would be sustainable?
I think there was some point down the road where I knew it wasn't working. When I started getting into it really heavy, when my parents found out about my self-harm and they were really worried, seeing them worried, I was like, I thought it wasn't that big of a deal, but seeing the faces of my parents, I was like, is this a big deal? But I think I started realizing that something needed to change when I just I got to a really dark place in my life. And I knew something needed to change when I was, when I didn't see a way out, and when I was having constant thoughts of ending my life, is when I kind of knew I needed to get out. But again, I had no idea how to do that, and I didn't know if it was possible.
And from that point, clearly something happened, and you were able to seek the help that you needed. What was that breaking point that made you accept the help that was around you?
So my mom was actually the one who recommended I go to FullCircle. And on my first night, I can't really describe how I felt other than a little bit of hope. Because I had seen people that had come from a really rough spot, and I'd heard parts of their stories, or I knew they had been struggling, and they looked happy. They looked like they liked their lives, and I knew that part of me wanted that, and I still was unsure if I could get it, but I had that little piece of hope. And then about 2 weeks sober, I think it was, I was supposed to go on a trip with one of the best friends that I was extremely codependent on. We were at the airport and everything. We got into a conversation, got into a little bit of an argument, and they told me that the two of them had just always been closer. And to me, that just felt like the end of the world. That was just because I thought that if I lost them, I had nothing to live for. And that night, I came very close to, I really wanted to take my own life in that airport. thought about it a lot. I had brought in something with me that I could have done that with. Really wanted to relapse on self-harm and everything, but I actually remembered that so at FullCircle, when you hit 30 days sober, they give you a 30 days fist, which is, so they call it a fist because it's a monkey's fist knot tied at the end, and you can like wear it as a little necklace. But so sailors can use that to tie ships to shore or to docks or anything. So the whole idea with that is it represents stepping your feet on solid ground. So at that point, I had 2 weeks off self-harm, and I remembered that my 30-day fist was right around the corner. I was halfway there, and I got a little bit of hope that maybe I could make it to that 30-day fist. I was already halfway there, so that little bit of hope was enough for me to pause and kind of think through what I was doing. And I ended up giving one of the staff members at FullCircle a call instead. And my parents, they came to pick me up and take me home. So I didn't end up going on that trip, which was definitely a good thing. And I ended up staying fully sober that night. And
And ever since then, right? And that was,
yeah. And I've been sober ever since, so.
right? And I'm like, seriously? You are absolutely fantastic. What does it look like today to be a young person in recovery and to now be that beacon of hope for those other people?
All right, so, well, for a little context, or not context, but I'm 18 now. Back in June, early June, I hit 2 years off self-harm. And my life has, in those 2 years, my life has changed in ways I didn't even imagine was possible. You know, that hope I got that first night, it was like, okay, maybe I can have, like, dance like these people do. Maybe I could find moments of happiness, maybe make some cool friends. And I don't know, the things I've gotten out of recovery have surpassed that greatly.
This girl, every Thursday, I love seeing her because I'm like, what'd you do this weekend? Like, I just love hearing like her life. She does like synchronized swimming. She does these like cool dances. Like, they do a lot. Like, to be able to be a young person in recovery and to not need substances is remarkable. So I think that is fantastic. And I know you sponsor women.
I do sponsor people, yeah, which has been an amazing thing. Because like I said, that first night, what I got at FullCircle was like the feeling of hope. And so to be able to give others hope is just a really fulfilling thing.
Right, and I really want to thank you for having the bravery to come up here and talk about, again, a different type of addiction that doesn't get a lot of spotlight. So I think it's very, very brave of you. And, you know, here at Free, we obviously love you tremendously. You clearly have, you know, support from your community, which is, right? Which is just so fantastic. And for anyone who's out there, maybe they're watching online, maybe they are too scared to come in, maybe they just don't quite know what their hope might look like, what message would you hope that your story, if anything, if no one heard a word you said, but just this one thing, like what would you hope that you can have someone hear tonight?
One thing is really hard.
Or five, whatever.
Okay. I'll do a couple things, but one thing is just how loving and welcoming IDI recovery community is like amazing. So if the fear of like not being welcome here is a thing, come anyway, you know. But another thing I had to learn, and it took me some time and a lot of work to learn, is it's not the people or places or things around me that, like, I don't know, caused me to hate myself and to hate my life. It's not those things that needed to change for me to be happy, you know. Happiness is an inside job. I had to do the work to get where I am today, you know. So, I don't know. And another big one is, no matter where you're at currently, no matter how much you're struggling, there is a way out. And there will always be people there who are willing to help you out of that spot.
And it's so good. And I hope you stick around a little bit. And I hope all of the, all of the Full Circle people stick around a little bit. I think we should put the links in there as well. I know they're in the newsletter of how to get connected. So if you're watching this online, there is a resource table outside in the cafe for anyone who wants more information on Full Circle. But it's a phenomenal program. Again, recovery is possible. It doesn't matter how old you are. Guys, please get to know this girl, whether it's inside here at Free or at Full Circle. Come on Thursdays to the coffee shop. She's just absolutely divine. But can you guys please give Thea a round of applause and thank her?
Thank you, Thea. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah. Sometimes you just take in the moment. You know, I was telling the 5 o'clock service, I get to go out to North Carolina next Sunday and give a message at a church. They want to know about what's happening here at Free, and I get to talk about some of the things I love about this Free community. And you demonstrated it so well, Thea, that it's the authenticity. That's what I love about this community, that we've had to give up the mask because we had to learn it didn't work. And man, I get to talk about that next week. And thank you so much, Thea, for sharing your story with us tonight. So good, so meaningful. Thank you. All right, y'all, the way we close things down on a Saturday night here at Free is very similar to how we begin. We begin with celebrations. Start with the good, but we close with what we call heartaches. That maybe you've been carrying around some burdens, some hard stuff, and you've been trying to carry it alone, and you found out that you suck at carrying it alone. You find out you don't have to. It's why you have community. It's why we have a God who hears the cries of the people. So we take 3 minutes for this. If you have a heartache, you need prayer, encouragement, lifting up for. Well, if you're online, drop those heartaches into Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, whichever platform you're joining us from. If you're here in-house, just raise up your hand. Kiera will get you a mic. Darren will get you a mic. Let's take 3 minutes.
My name's Brenda. I have I'd call them 4 best friends. Over the course of the last 3 months, every single one, all 4 of them have relapsed. And they weren't pretty at all. They were some of the worst ones I've seen, and one of them actually died and came back. So I'm doing, I think, the best I can to take care of myself too. But yeah, when it's right in front of you, it's very different than when it's in a treatment center and you work there and stuff. So you can just look out for them.
Well, prayers for you, Brenda. Glad you're here. Glad you're part of this community.
My name is Layla. If we could just pray for my mom, who's still in active addiction. Also, my friend Sarah's daughter fell into a seizure yesterday, and then she was getting released from the hospital, and when they took the IV out, she fell into another seizure. So if we could just lift her up in prayer tonight.
Yeah, lifting her up and your mom. Thank you, Layla.
My name's Steven. I've got a young man named Jake who's currently residing in the sober living house that I spent almost 2 years in. It's just really been struggling lately, and his wife just got out of the hospital from detoxing herself and is trying to get the right help. So just prayers for Jake and his wife.
All right, lifting them up tonight. Thank you, Stephen.
I just want to pray for anybody out there who's struggling with addiction. Yeah, just a little prayer out there for them.
Yeah, prayers for those still struggling. Thank you for that. Did you have anything? No. Anyone else?
name's Austin. My brother is dealing with some medical issues, and he just got put on a transplant list for kidneys and a heart. Just some prayers for him that hopefully he gets the organs he needs.
Yeah. Austin, prayers for your brother, man. Glad you're here. Lift him up. You got 10 seconds to take us home. There it is, right there.
I just wanted to say a prayer for my nephew. He's 16 years old, wrecked a motorcycle. He's been paralyzed the last year. I think it's been 13 months, and he's doing well, but if we just lift up his family.
Yeah. Prayers for your nephew, man, and the family. Thanks for sharing that with us. Kira, you want to join me up here on stage?
I knew he was going to do that.
Well, I figured, I mean, you were like all over the news at 10:30 on Thursday night, and you were, how'd that feel, by the way, to watch yourself?
A lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
It's
did
a pretty
it
cool
feel,
story.
So Connor shared his story here about was it a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Powerful night. How did it feel? I know you know your son's story because it's your son, but to see it on like a TV screen, how'd that feel?
I mean, it was pretty profound.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come a long way, and it's been like an incredible journey just watching him grow and go through the hard and come out the other side, and all these lovely full circle kids
Yeah.
here. It's so special. Tonight was so powerful.
Yeah.
Very special. It was so good to hear your story.
All right. Well, yeah, if you haven't checked out the episode, let's check it out for sure. Oh, this screen is out, so we got to turn around a little bit, Kiara. You want to take the first one?
Sure. Pamela Les, please continue to pray for my son Sam. We still do not know where he is.
Yeah, Pamela, prayers for your son. I know it's been ongoing. Continued prayers. Now, Marty says, I've been carrying around a lot alone with grieving, processing, being in it, feeling lost, alone, and empty with losing my grandparents in October and March, 5 months apart. Never did I think that would happen. Could you pray for me? Yes, Marty, we are lifting you up tonight. We're glad you're joining us tonight. Glad you're here. Prayers for you, brother.
Connie, this month it will be 3 years since I lost my daughter to a fentanyl overdose. It's a rough month. My daughter also did self-harm. As a parent, I was terrified for my daughter. I thank you for sharing your story. It has touched me deeply.
Yeah, Connie, prayers for you and the family and Tom, and yeah, lifting you up this month during a difficult time again as it comes around again. Julie says prayers for my nephew who is currently in treatment and for my sister struggling with how to support her son in this disease. Julie, lifting them up tonight. Prayers for you and them.
Monty, please pray for my baby Arlen having surgery on Monday. Dad was taken by ICE 4 weeks ago for no reason. Mom is alone, no family here. If anyone has attorney help, would be appreciated.
Prayers for you, MJ, and that family. And yeah, she just put a call to action. If you know of an attorney in that area, y'all can put it in a thread. Monica says, a friend of mine, there's a lot of online ones tonight. How about this? A friend of mine at work has gone through several surgeries. Prayers for healing and that he's doing okay. Monica, prayers for your friend tonight. Glad you're joining us here online and lifting them up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kara, for being up here with me. All right, y'all. Hey, if you've been impacted by the mission here of breaking the silence of addiction, if you call this place your home, your community, your tribe, your people, whatever you call us here, well, you should know that people ask all the time, well, how are you funded? How is this whole thing funded? You're looking at it. We are funded by you, the people, and I know many of you, you have made giving a spiritual practice in your life. You've made it a sacrificial practice in your life. You used to keep everything to yourself, but now you actually give some away. I know many people online, you've never stepped foot in here, and yet you give to free, and we are very grateful for it. It makes a big difference here. Thank you for being a part of it. If you'd like to donate, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can download the app, Free Recovery Community. It's free to download. All of our content's on there, messages, guest storytellers. There's a giving button. You can give once, or you can set it up to give weekly or monthly, however you want to do it. We're grateful for all of it. Or you can go straight to the website, freerecoverycommunity.com. There's a give button there, exact same thing. There's 2 giving boxes, one outside these doors, one outside at these doors for like cash and check type people. We still accept those things around here. And there is the kind kiosk. It's the automated machine just outside these doors. It's a one-tap system. You can tap and give that way. It's easy, safe, secure. If you want to hit that machine on the way out, well, we're grateful for that too. Thank you for being a part of it. Without you, literally, we don't exist, so thank you. All right, y'all, shall we go out with a prayer? I would encourage you to just open up the hands. There's nothing magical about it. It's just a simple symbol of openness. Maybe tonight you are open to a new way. That there's been some just dishonest places in your life, some places you need to get honest, and you don't know how, but you're willing to try. Yeah, so just take a big, deep breath and hold it for a minute, or just a few seconds, and let it out. Yeah, you're here, you're breathing. It's okay, you're good. If you don't know the Serenity Prayer, well, it's on the screen. We'll pray it together. It goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Grace and peace to you. See you next time.